Future in Spanish with FrenchSpanishOnline.com. We use the future the same way as in English. However, the present tense is commonly used in Spanish for near events. For example, if you say I will go to bed after the film, in Spanish you will say voy a dormir después de la película, using the present tense voy, I go, or I'm going. How to form it? It's not very complicated but different. We need a stem and a future ending. The future ending comes from the verb haber. Let's see it. You know this verb, very important because it's an auxiliary verb in Spanish. Has, ha, hemos, habéis, han. We use the end of this verb, and this end will be the future endings. So we have has, ha, hemos, heis, han. So now that we have our endings, how are going to form the future with a stem? And the stem is easy to find because it's just the infinitive form of the verb. For example, with the verb hablar, to speak or to talk, the infinitive form is of course hablar. So now that we have our endings here, we can have our future. Hablaré, hablarás, hablará, hablaremos, hablaréis, hablarán. And that's all. For all the regular verbs, it's this way. You use the infinitive form and you add this ending coming from the verb haber. Let's see now some irregular verbs. The difference comes from the stem, because the stem is different. For example, the verb decir, to say, to tell. Instead of using the whole infinitive form, the stem is dir, but with the same endings. So we have now diré, dirás, dirá, diremos, diréis, dirán. The only change comes from the stem. And all the irregular verbs work this way, with a different stem. Let's see another example with the verb tener, to get, to have. Tener becomes tendre. So with our future endings, we have tendré, tendrás, tendrá, tendremos, tendréis, tendrán. So of course you need to learn them. Sometimes it's easy to understand and to know. Sometimes you need to learn them by heart to understand how to use this. For example, here we have more irregular verbs, so everything comes from the stem. Poder, for example, is pod, so we have podré, podrás, podrá, etc. Querer, here as you can see we have two R. Venir is vendre, vendré, vendrás, etc. Poner, pondre, saber, sabre, hacer, har, haré, harás, hará, etc. So that's just what you have to know actually to understand how to form the future in Spanish. It's not difficult. One more thing, we do not use the future tense when will means to be willing, so has nothing to do with the future. For example, when you say, will you help me? In Spanish, you will say, ¿quieres ayudarme? So that translation is, do you want to help me? We won't say, will you help me? So that's the only case we don't use actually will to have the future in Spanish. Y es todo. Terminado. Thank you very much for watching these slides with me. If you want to see the script of this lesson, go to FrenchSpanishOnline.com/magazine. Of course, it's free, and see you for the next lesson. Ciao, ciao.